at tryspikedetox.com/get15.
Welcome back to The Real Story. So peaceful protest is totally cool until it goes against the agenda of the loud minority. A young woman was recently completely disqualified from a fencing tournament simply for taking a knee and refusing to compete against a transgender athlete. On Sunday, Stephanie Turner was competing in the Cherry Blossom fencing tournament being held at the University of Maryland and noticed that she was supposed to face Redmond Sullivan in one of her matches. So before the match could begin, Turner kneeled and removed her mask in protest of USA Fencing. Now, Turner said that USA Fencing hasn't been listening to the objections of biological women in the sport, unsurprisingly. And Turner was immediately handed a black card, signifying that she was expelled from the tournament for a serious rule infraction or unsportsmanlike behavior. Turner then said that she knew from the moment she found out she was competing against Sullivan that she would take the knee, regardless of the consequences. And she recalled that when she kneeled, Sullivan came over to see if she was okay. And she said, quote, "I'm sorry. I have much love and respect for you, but I will not fence you," end quote. Turner said Sullivan responded by saying that someone on the board supported them being there and that she would receive a black card if she refused to compete. And Sullivan said, "I know." Women across the nation are continuing, though, to speak out against instances like this, when transgender athletes in women's sports are competing. And a staggering 79% of people think that transgender athletes shouldn't be allowed to compete in women's sports at all, while just 18% believe they should be. And that's according to a poll from the New York Times conducted back in January. But then, USA Fencing released a statement saying they always want to err on the side of inclusivity. But it seems like everyone is thinking the same thing. And at what cost? We're being so inclusive that real women are quitting and refusing to compete. Now, Turner said the event has turned her from a lifelong Democrat to a conservative Republican, and apparently many other women are following suit. Here with reaction is military defense attorney Davis Younts. Davis, thank you for joining me.
It's an honor, Riley.
So Democrats find themselves on the wrong side of almost every 80-20 issue in America, but I do wonder about this one in particular. Why do they seem so dedicated to allowing transgender athletes to compete in women's sports?
I think there are a few different reasons why we see this, but one of the issues that we face as a nation is that people have abandoned basic, foundational, biblical Christian principles, the kind of principles that have allowed our nation to flourish. And when you do that, when you turn your back on truth, you end up with chaos. And that's what we see here. People understand, regardless of their background, regardless of their faith, they understand this defies logic and common sense. Men and women are different. And when we allow men to compete against women in women's sports, it does two things. First, it harms the women because it takes away opportunities from them. And second, it results in serious injuries. And we don't have to go to statistics or anything else to understand that. That's common sense, but we have seen it. There are documented cases of serious injury. What's unfortunate about this situation is that one brave woman had to stand alone in order to try and gain attention and to take a stand for women's sports. You know, I have two daughters, two teen daughters, and what she did helps them. She took a stand for all these people. She took a stand based on her faith and for truth. And I hope it has an impact. I hope it causes people to pay attention, because she should not be blackguarded. She should not be treated as someone who engaged in unsportsmanlike conduct or someone who broke the rules and created this serious rule infraction simply for standing for basic common sense and fundamental truth.
Well, to your point, I think it is gaining a lot of attention, and I think that was true before the election, but we've seen so many cases afterwards that it's really waking people up. And moments like this is very eye-opening for a lot of Americans that aren't even really political. So it's interesting to see female athletes in particular leaving their progressive, politics behind, leaving the Democrat Party that stands by this injustice, and joining the conservative common sense movement. What do you think about that, Davis?
Well, listen, like I said before, this is about fundamental truth. It's about the way our world was created and the way the universe works. And there's certain things that are true, and it doesn't, you can try to bring in modern philosophy, you can try to use situational ethics, you can try to do a lot of things, but it does not change basic facts and truth about the way the world functions, the way God created the world, and basic biology. And when we do that, it results in chaos. But part of this, I think, is just a fundamental problem that there are people in this world, especially on this transgender issue, that will not rest until we tolerate and then accept and then participate in their lie, in their falsehood. That's really the issue here. It's not simply that they want to have the freedom to pretend there's something they're not. It goes beyond that and reaches a point where they expect other people to participate in this lie, in this untruth, and they won't rest until we do that. So that's part of why we see this chaos, and I think that's the reaction to it, is people on a common sense level are understanding this is not right, it doesn't make sense, and it harms our daughters, it harms our wives, and we don't have to stand by for that.
Absolutely. Acceptance is one thing. I'm all for acceptance and tolerance and loving your fellow Americans. I get that, but when it gets to forced participation, then we have a big problem. And I think that's fundamentally anti-American, especially, to your other point, when it's based on falsehoods and propaganda and lies, as if men and women are exactly the same and are interchangeable, which is just false. So I love that people like Riley Gaines have made this a household issue because it's so crucial, so critical, and so overlooked in legacy media. So I applaud this girl's bravery in this fencing tournament. I think it's remarkable, and I think if more Americans had that kind of bravery and courage, we'd all be better off for it. So Davis, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Coming up next, as the deadline to ban TikTok in the U.S. looms, a major tech giant reportedly makes a last-minute bid for the popular social media platform. More details after the break.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work, try to see a doctor this week, or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online and save $45. Your kit to treat dozens of common and serious illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit urgentcarekit.com/save, promo code SAVE. That's urgentcarekit.com/save, promo code SAVE.
Can your pantry outlast a disaster? These new 3-month survival food kits from 4 Patriots are delicious and designed to last for 25 years. You get more servings, more calories, and the best variety on the market, packed in covert stackable totes, so your stash of delicious survival food stays a secret. Visit 4patriots.com now to claim a new 3-month survival food kit. Don't wait, it's first come, first serve. Visit 4patriots.com now.
The FBI calls it house stealing, the latest scam where a cyber thief transfers the title of your home out of your name and steals your hard-earned equity.